don't care what anybody says, but these DC films were effing outstanding. Outstanding. They were like watching the old, the movies of old, the gladiatory movies of old, like Spartacus and the Ten Commandments. They were amazing. 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 Great storytelling, great directing, great visuals, great performances, compelling, everything you would want, not just from a CBM, but from a movie. Again, I don't care what the haters say. And you got this one, and then you've got this one. Amazing. Amazing. Then you've got this one. And if not for Zack Snyder, this film wouldn't have been amazing as it was. Forget about the director's name you see at the end credits. Forget that. She was like a second unit director, let's be honest about it. But a brilliant movie. And then you've got this one. Now, although this was produced by Safran and the enemies of Zack Snyder, James Wan is a great director. And, partially I'm going to talk about James Wan today. So that's why I brought this film here. But generally, we had a great DC franchise with these movies. They were outstanding. I went to see Aquaman early. If you've been following me for a while, or since the very beginning, was it 3 or 4 years now since this channel's been going? I saw this film early. I did an early review on my channel here and on my YouTube channel. I'm not sure if this is going to go out on Instagram or anywhere else, but anyway, yeah, and it got record amount of views. I think it's still my most highest viewed video ever. And it was simply called I Have Seen Aquaman, and I've heard about this movie. This was a beautiful Aquaman adaptation. Beautiful. And James Wan, directed a beautiful film. And he was on the phone to Zack Snyder a lot, asking for his advice. This is Zack Snyder's Aquaman. He cast him. Now, as we saw in the Snyder Cut, Zack's vision was slightly darker of Atlantis. But James Wan's vision of Atlantis is beautiful. James Wan is a visionary freaking director. This film is a major freaking achievement. And don't let anyone tell you any different. And we were all very excited about his sequel, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. He and Jason Momoa had big plans. James Gunn ruined Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and the Flash movie. Why he was involved, I don't know. I just don't understand. These remaining DCEU movies should have been left alone. But by then, the DCEU had been ruined because the people who don't like compelling, intelligent, entertaining movies decided that they wanted dumbed down SHIT. We got Shazam. Birds of Prey and crap like that. These were crap movies, and, The Rock's Black Adam was the best of that lot. At least it was entertaining. At least it was a good time at the cinema. Not the quality of what Zack was giving us and what James Wan was giving us. It's interesting, isn't it? If you had two names to run, the creative part of DC Studios, who would you choose? James Gunn or James Wan? I know who I would choose. Who got it more right? James Gunn with Guardians and the Suicide Squad, or James Wan with Aquaman? Aquaman was a much harder movie to make. No one had ever done, created an underwater world on that level before. What James Wan did is as pioneering as Dick Donner did in 1978, 77, 76, when he was shooting Superman 78. Because that was groundbreaking, because they didn't have the technology to make a man fly or show a planet, But Star Wars helped develop that technology, of course. And Star Wars, his production designer, John Barry, worked on Superman. Because most things were physical back then. But what James Wan did, it's a beautiful freaking movie. And mostly the visuals are still good in the sequel, but it's a dumbed down piece of shit. I'm sorry, but it is. It's a dumbed down piece of crap. And it's because James Gunn interfered. Now, we heard the big drama around Christopher Nolan leaving WB and citing the day and date. but privately being angry about how Zack Snyder was treated. He's left WB and now he's working with Universal. He will never work with WB again, despite what he said publicly because Zaslav gave him some money that they owed him. Forget it. He's never going to work for WB unless the face of WB changes or Universal swallow up WB. And I think that's what's going to happen, especially if the DCU fails. We don't know if the DCU will succeed or fail. We don't know if Superman will succeed or fail. We don't know. I don't want any DC to fail. But when you're dealing with people who are trying to give you dumbed down SHIT, this is what's going to happen. So James Wan was driven out the studio because of the behaviour from Zaslav and Saffron and Gunn. Gunn interfered with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. It's barely a 2-hour film. There's moments that you can kind of enjoy and are emotional because they had the beats from the first movie, but ultimately that movie was going to be a freaking epic. I explained to you what it was going to be. It was going to be the Wrath of Khan. It was going to be an amazing film. And they ruined it. And they drove out one of the best directors the industry has. They've driven out James Wan. I respect James Gunn. I don't hate James Gunn. It's not about that. But let's be clear, James Wan is not even debatable. Look at the statistics. James Wan is a more talented filmmaker than James Gunn. James Wan's achievement in one CBM, compels what James Gunn's done in 4 or 5 CBMs. That's the truth. Imagine James Wan's Green Lantern Corps movie and things like that. It would have been amazing, and we lost that. But we got James Gunn. Let's see how that works out.